Hi, I'm Nick Grotto from Nick's Game Grotto, and today I'm going to be talking about Free RPG Day. It was on Saturday, and I played in two games. I didn't run games this year. I'm trying to new systems and new ways of playing. The first one I want to talk about is a weird one. I've read this. I picked it up because it has a lot of weird stuff in it. There's single player RPG things. There's weird two player. There's a game where every round you switch who the game master is. Really interesting stuff. The last one in the book is a bit of an existential crisis if you're a game master. And other than that, it's really interesting. So I don't really think I'm gonna wind up playing any of these, and we didn't play. There were no sessions to play these. I don't think at my game store, but it is a good read, right? Just to get an idea of like different ways that you can play an RPG. Now, for the game I wanted to play but didn't get to, Pathfinder, the Great Toy Heist. It looks amazing, right? Artwork in it is amazing. I didn't get to play this game because it was scheduled at the same time as the Avatar session that I was playing in, but I heard the people playing. It sounded like a lot of fun. They were at the next table over. Flip through it. It comes with a map, and on the first page, and this is important, you'll see later, there is a web address for Paizo's PRD, which they're calling a Pathfinder reference document, right? So that takes you to the archives of Nethys, right? So there was a spell on one of the character sheets, right? And it didn't have the description for that stuff. So because I have the articles of Nethys here, and because they put a link to the article of Nethys in their one shot, I was able to go and look up the spells that are in here. You should have everything you need to run this game because stores have professional GMs come in, and a lot of them don't know the system. I really want to play this. It looks like it has original character sheets in it. Most of the book is character sheets and descriptions for the characters. So I imagine they spent like the first few minutes of the session, if people didn't show up early, reading over these materials for the players. But really, the adventure itself starts on page 2 and ends on conclusion, page 7. 5 pages of a one shot. It's really all you need because you want to play this in like 2 to 4 hours, right? That sucks that I didn't get to play it, but now that I have that and I have the archives of Nethys, I'm able to. It's great. So, Avatar, powered by the apocalypse. Halfway through the session, when we took a break, I was in the bookstore looking for a powered by the apocalypse manual. I had to do the research, found out there is no powered by the apocalypse manual. The idea of powered by the apocalypse is just that. It's an idea based on an older game. So Avatar uses that 2d6 really cool system. With Avatar, it's a completely different system. It's 2d6. If you roll a 7 on the 2d6, that's considered a success. If you roll a 10 or greater, that's considered a critical success. You still have roll modifiers, you still have abilities and skills and stuff like that. It's just a much more free feeling storytelling system. I won't spoil the adventure for you, but we managed to save everybody and not kill a single NPC and capture an important NPC. So we captured an important NPC, saved all the people we were supposed to save, and fought off a bunch of soldiers. It felt organic, real, and difficult. We were playing at Isle of Games on Broadway and Pantano. There were 5 of us at the table, and 3 of the 5 of us have never played Avatar or Powered by the Apocalypse system. So we had to have everything explained to us. And again, that was easy to do because there's a little QR code. on the front page. And the little QR code takes you to this awesome PDF that I was looking at before I started. And it is basically a quick start guide. It's big. It's a big. It's got a lot of pages in it, man. Like, look at this. It's 50 pages of up to the end. It's got, all right. So where did the character sheets end? 44 pages of information about how to play Avatar. GM at the GM I work that was running it was very knowledgeable about the system, so we didn't have like a lot of stuff stopping to look stuff up, but we could have if we wanted to. And the reason that is because these rules are in the game, right? They are part of, even if they're not in this book, they're available in this book or through this book, right? So that's important because you don't want to be like looking up spells or what something means. Avatar was super fun. The idea of bending, and if you watch the show, the GM kind of said, yeah, whatever you see people do in the show, it's just how hard it becomes for you to do that. And what I was picking up on was like, oh, I want to try and restrain a character. If I succeed, I want to at least capture her feet. If I roll very well, I want to try to capture all the way up to her arms and stop her from performing any somatic components, stopping the character from bending, spellcasting, right? I rolled and I managed to get her feet, and then somebody jumped up on that, right? So it was really cool, really organic, really easy to understand this system, and it was a lot of fun because even though I didn't watch the Nickelodeon show, I was a little bit too old for it. I enjoy the animation. I've watched a lot of stuff on YouTube, and I've read stuff about the setting, and it's a really cool setting. And I saw the shitty Shyamalan movie, right? Super fun, and I was joyed at the end of the session. I was like, whoa, we didn't have to kill anybody. I was like really happy, and we saved people, and we didn't have to kill anybody, and we captured a bad person. That's awesome. And they're like, yeah, that's in the game. Like, and that's like part of like the spirit of playing Avatar, which I think is dope. Because as much as I like smashing and killing and all the dark stuff, which I do, I also like a little bit of whimsy and lighthearted stuff sometimes. So that was fun. The Buddy Boy. Then finally, the other game I played was a 5e game. I should have joined another session, but my friend was playing this. This is not typical 5e. This is Cobalt Press's Valiant. Doesn't even say it on the cover, man. Tales of the Valiant. It's on the back cover, right? Cobalt Press made a mistake. It's 5e, but it's not typical 5e. And I think they have like a 500-page rule book that is an expansion not only of the world, but of the rule set of 5e, right? So playing this, when we played this book, the GM starting out was really nervous because she did not have the book. It was sold out. She worked at the store. If the store had the book, they would have let her use the book and do the research, but they were sold out of the book. They couldn't get the book. They played it anyway, right? Because it's 5e. How hard could it be? What wound up happening is the GM started rough because they were having to explain a lot about like what they didn't understand about the book and how the session might go. They got into it, kind of got in a mode of let's just go forward, right? And I'm glad that happened because if we had started this one shot in the beginning and played through encounter by encounter, everything that you could do, right? If you weren't railroaded by this, if you weren't railroaded by your GM, this wouldn't be a one shot. This would be, and I get it, it's free RPG day. It's not free one shot day, right? But this, I don't think, is a single session game, and we played it in a single session. The reason I don't think it's a single session game is because there is the preamble, why you're there, what you want, who's involved, right? Who the major players are, if there's a certain MacGuffin, what that is, stuff like that. and that was fine. There wasn't anything rough there. But then you go into the investigation phase where you can run into different people, and right off the bat, you could get into a combat encounter between an animated armor and two flying swords. Right. So for 3 to 4 level 1 characters, that is definitely a doable fight. But you're gonna want to rest, right? Potentially, especially if you're going into a scary cave, which you already know you're eventually going into a scary cave. You're just investigating on what's found in that scary cave. Another combat encounter on the road, potential, right? Other players put their familiars in danger, scared something off. I'm not trying to give anything away. Scared something off, and we skip that combat. But we spent a lot of time messing around with something we found, like a little toy. You meet another main character. We never even met this character, Danbar Tuffle, and we didn't have time to. We were running right up until the end of the game. So good on the GM for just chopping stuff out, right? Then you go to a cave. So first you do an investigation. Then you are on the road and have an encounter on the road. Then you go to the cave, and it's a 5-room dungeon. Look at this. They got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's a 7-room dungeon, right? So it's a 7-room dungeon, but one of the rooms is 3 maps, right? So it is a 5-room dungeon. Too much. We're looking at our character sheets, right? And there's stuff on the character sheets like Grave Touch, the cantrip. Nobody knows what that is, right? And then you go to another character sheet. Hold on. This unpronounceable guy. And you see down here, we have something called Eyes of the Maker. Fine. Touch an item to learn magic properties or spells affecting it. Great. Shard creation. Inspire or transform 3 charges per long rest. The GM had no instructions for that, and I had no instructions for that. So, like, nobody showed up with the Tales of the Valiant book. So we were effectively not really able to play this one-shot with the full... This RPG, or campaign even, to its full potential using the materials provided. Which isn't a free RPG, guys. It's not. It's a free mini campaign. The GM was getting frustrated. There's a part where there's a giant spider. We burn down the giant spider webs, and we start picking through the loot, and the GM says, I'm going to use random roll tables. Roll on a D10. And that D10 determined what roll table she was rolling on. Then you rolled a D100. And then that picked a magic item. Not using leveled roll tables, which meant somebody in the party wound up with an amulet of basically you could create a force cube, right? And it had like 30 something charges in it, which is absurd because we now have like a bit of a lock somebody in a box type of thing. You know what I'm saying? Basically, all bets were off in this campaign. Somebody got a 9th level fireball spell scroll, and we're playing first level characters. I know you shouldn't be able to set that off, but this is now the game that it devolved into because this book did not have the proper rules. We were having a fucking blast with it because we knew it was a one-shot. If it was a campaign, that would have ruined everything, right? It would have been like, oh my god, this campaign is stupid. You can't just give everything to everybody every time you want something. But in a one-shot, and one where you could tell as the GM, you could tell everybody's really not enjoying it, fuck it, all bets are off, right? What this is good for is because I don't want to be all negative on it, very good NPCs, right? So there's a lot of information on what NPCs want, what their motivations are, and it's vague enough that you can just drop it into your game, right? So there's Raphael the Inspired, he, him, human artist, suave and snooty, impeccably dressed, boldly arrogant. He has personality traits, he has a bond, he has flaws, he has wants, and he has a section where it's talking to Raphael, where I'll read it to you. Raphael will initially refuse to talk to the PCs as he is in the middle of a painting and wishes to finish it. To get Raphael to talk to them, the PCs must succeed on a DC 13 charisma deception or charisma intimidation or charisma persuasion check. If they somehow use art in their attempt, for example, posing as art collectors or curators or pretending to represent a buyer or gallery, they gain advantage on those checks and they succeed. Raphael shares the following, and that's where it becomes specific. So you can easily just change these bullet points that are on this page and drop Raphael in any campaign, and all the other NPCs in this campaign are the same. Tota the Raven Feather, she is an elven hunter. There is Eglantine Whipperwit, she, her, small folk gnome inventor. Very cool characters. This is nice to have just like in your folder. You know, like I have like a folder of stuff that I take with me. What a hunter stand would look like, it would be meats and leathers, right? Basically what they would have. Maybe they would have some gathering like mushrooms or hard to find stuff because they go out in the thing. What is on sale is not in here. But the shopkeep, their personality, and what their motivations are, has good information in this book. So that's it. And hope you guys have fun gaming, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Oh, shit. There are 1, 2, 3 Pasaniti games left. Go play.